Okay, this is table 3. So we'll start with this engine. This is a little V-twin. This was made by Munn, the same guy that made my, Morris, out of Vietnam. So this is a little V-twin, 4-stroke spark ignition, air cooled. He's made practically everything on this engine. Made the fuel tank, the carburetor, made the carbies. He's made, I don't know if I can show you there, underneath, made the coils and made the little coil packs, the little CDI unit. He's also got a Mastiff of mine at the moment, which is an opposed 4-cylinder, 24cc. So he's got that with him at the moment that he's working on. So yeah, I'll receive that one day. So this little engine, this is little Musa. This is the Musa F1, which is 2.7cc, 4-stroke spark ignition, air cooled. So this particular engine is a tribute to this engine. This is a Luhrs, made by George Luhrs in the USA. This is a 1.2cc 4-stroke spark ignition, air cooled. They're both very similar engines. This particular one would have been made on a lathe and milling machine. This particular one is pretty well all CNC machined. So this one's got well, when I bought this thing, I noticed a feature cast into the base. And so I got hold of a tiny CDI unit and mounted it inside the base, running a little lithium battery, 3.7 volt battery. So that's why I put it on this Perspex base, just to I guess show off the engine, that it's a little standalone unit, little compact unit. I quite like that, how it's all compact and self-contained, just in that one little unit there. So moving on to, so this is a homemade inline 4-cylinder. So it's air cooled. I don't know of the CC capacity. It's 4-stroke, glow ignition. I've raided a couple of parts off it. I've pinched a couple of carburetors off it. So I'm going to make up a new manifold and just go maybe 2 carbies rather than the 4. It's a nice little engine, little open rockers. It's got cool little exhausts poking out the back there, 4 exhausts on it. So yeah, I'll get that running eventually one day. Yeah. This is the M17B, which is made by Jin Okmo Engines in China. So it's a 4-cylinder spark ignition with a water hopper. It's the same as these engines. They all sort of run a very similar theme. They all sound very similar to each other. They all run similar to each other. Made of brass. Some of them have got like brass gears on them, brass cams and what have you. So they're not made for you know, constant running. They're just a toy. So I don't know. I enjoy them, but I don't do too much with them because yeah, well, these haven't given trouble, but I know a lot of people have had trouble with these little models wearing out and losing compression because of the O-ring seals and what have you. So this one was the M15. This is the mini Hoglet, which is the same as, where is it? That one there, it's based on this engine. That's a Hoglet. This is a mini version. I'll turn it around so you can see it. So this is V-twin 4-stroke spark ignition. I'm not sure of the cc capacity. This one, you can actually start it with the little Kickstarter. This is one of the early engines that come out with the brass chain, which wears out really quick. And I've got to buy a new chain for it, but I just haven't got around to it yet. So this is another homemade, unfinished project. This is a V4. I'm not sure of the cc capacity, but it's quite a big engine, this one. Made by the same fella that made this one. And he also made this one. And that one. This is a V-twin. Supposedly it's a 50cc. Got quite big pistons on it. I'm missing the heads and the heads, valves, rockers, whatever else. So that's another little project I'll get onto one day. Back onto this V4. I haven't had this one running as yet. It's about complete, this one. Just needs it's spark ignition, this one. Make sure I wrote glow there. So it's fitted with spark plugs, but one interesting feature with this engine is, like, this is your exhaust port here, and you've got a port here and a port there. So each cylinder has got 2 exhaust ports per cylinder. I'm not sure why that's the case, but yeah, it is what it is. There's another exhaust port there. Let's see if we can get a better look. There we go, we've got, so yeah, two exhaust ports per cylinder. So I'm not sure why that is. It's water cooled. It's got these little bands here so that you can actually run water through it, as well as the fin, so it's water and air cooled. Same as this particular engine. It's got the fins on it. You can run water around the cylinder, as well as you can run water through the head. I'm not sure how efficient that would be, but anyway, it's there. This has got the initials MJT stamped on them. The guy that I bought these off, his name is Mick, so maybe he made these, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's got a couple of features on it as well. It's got this right angle drive, and then there's another drive down the side there. I'm not sure what it's for, what it's out of. I just haven't. That one, Mick tells me that it runs. I just have never run it. So this is the Lister so-called diesel. I say that because it is a compression engine, but it runs on castor oil, ether and Kero. So it's a 20cc. It's got your 2 ports over the side there for your water. For your water cooling. It's got a little fuel pump there. There's a little governor inside. Got the intake port, exhaust port. What else? I bought this as a bit of a wreck. I had to make up a few of the rockers. I made this little cap, sat it on a base, cut keyways in the flywheels. What else? I've had to play with the pump, play with the injector. I've had it running. I've got a little video on YouTube there. It still needs work, but So here we have another engine. This is another compression engine, diesel. This runs on straight diesel, this one. This is a recently new purchase, this one. So it's 16cc. It's got a little water hopper out the back. This is for your fuel. Up, your little fuel pump there, governor, your little injector pump. Over the other side, you got your water hopper coming through, going through your pump. Goes into the cylinder, out the top of the cylinder, back to the tank. So I've had this one running. I've made a few little improvements. It doesn't run the best, this one, at the moment. So I've got some new parts, the new injector, and some parts, some extra parts coming. Hopefully to get it running a bit better, stop it from spitting so much fuel around. It's got a little decompression lever on it. I made that up so that I can start it a bit easier. I'll put this little lever on it put a bit of extra spring tension on the governor. I had trouble with the gears at one stage. I fixed all that up. It turns out that it was just a problem in this little check valve. This check valve had nothing to prevent the ball from blocking the outlet of the pipe, and that would mean that the pump would seize up, all this would seize up, give these gears a hard time, your gears would slip. I ended up the gears stripped out in the end, so it's now got steel gears in it. It's got these little thrust bearings. There's one there, another thrust bearing there, and I put another thrust bearing around here on this shaft. I'm not sure if they're necessary, but anyway, I put them in to try and take some pressure off the gears. So that side of it's all sorted now. I'm just waiting for these spare parts to come, and I'll give it another run. So this is the Cison L4-175. I bought this a couple of years ago with plans on giving it a paint job. I've bought paint for it. I was gonna spend some time on it and paint it all up as I assembled it, but as you can see, it's still sitting in a box. So that's another engine that I've got to get onto one day. It's a little flathead Cison, so I'll get onto that one day. Over the back here, we've got the T26 tractor. This is made from Ohlsson engines in China. 1.9cc engine, 4-stroke spark ignition. It's got a little water hopper, fuel tank. It's got the little carburetor hidden inside the little dummy air cleaner there. This particular engine, or this model, I've fitted remotes to it to make it fully remote control. So it's got a working diff in underneath. You've got a little gear lever there for your neutral, forward and reverse. And so I've got a little what do you call it? Little servo down the bottom there for changing my gears. I've got another servo here for my accelerator. And there's another servo that controls the clutch. And I've got a servo for steering. So it's fully remote control. Yeah, it's a cool little tractor. I've had that out in the bush. Runs alright. So moving on to the Morton M5. This is a radial 15cc 4-stroke spark ignition, air cooled. This is quite an old engine. I bought this as what was sold as a static display, but I wanted to hear it run, so I give it a total birthday, stripped it down, changed the bearings, changed the grease in the front. There's grease in between the two bearings in here. Give the valves a bit of a polish. Got it running okay, but not the best. I was sort of following the instructions, and the instructions said to use I think it was like a 4-to-1 ratio on the oil fuel mix, and so it had heaps of oil in it, and because it uses this little carburetor. I'll get this out of the radio. There's a little carby in underneath there, sucks your air in through there, which goes into the back of the back, and then gets distributed through these little pipes, and then out your exhausts out here. So it uses the oil in the fuel to help lubricate all your gears in the back of the engine. So when I run it, I was blowing heaps of oil out the back. Plus, in underneath here is where your controls are for your carburetor, and with the propeller spinning around, I wasn't too keen on putting my hand so close to the prop to adjust it. So I had a lot of time where I would shut the engine down, make adjustments, start it up, shut it down, make adjustments, start it up. But someone suggested to me later on that maybe I could have hooked some pipe up to it or some tubes of some sorts to give it a bit more, remote control, to be able to make my adjustments a little bit safer. Here we have the Conley 120. It's a direct overhead cam. This has got 4 valves per cylinder, single cylinder. It's a 19.6cc, 4-stroke, glow ignition, air cooled. It's made by Gary Conley. It's not a bad little engine, coming out of the US, that one. This is the little Otto. I bought this for my son 2 years ago. He was 8 years old at the time. It was a Christmas present for him. It's 7cc, 4-stroke, glow ignition, air cooled. So I bought this for him a couple of years ago when he was 8. He wasn't too keen on playing with engines at that time, so I kept it in the box and just put it on the shelf. And then it was only just recently that, now he's 10, we got it out and we assembled it together. And so I've bought him the genuine base now for it. So when he comes home, he can install it onto the base and we'll get it running. So over the back here, we've got the Benz cart. This is a nice little cart. This was made by Julian Wood, the cart. At the time it had a Sterling engine in it. Now it's got an engine made by Jing Okmo engines. So it's got the 1.9cc 4-stroke spark ignition with a water hopper in it. So this is a fully remote control buggy. It's got the engine there. So I've got batteries here for the engine. There's more batteries in here for the controlling the remotes. What have we got? Little CDI unit down there, little fuel tank, little diff. So it's got a little friction drive down here. So I've got in the middle, so obviously neutral, then I've got forward and reverse. It's a nice little engine, runs all right. I don't mind it, I don't mind that buggy at all, it's good. So moving on to this one, this is Edwards 5. This is a homemade job. It's a radial 5-cylinder. It's supposed to be 56cc, but I'm not sure what's going on there because this particular engine here is supposed to be 50cc. I haven't actually measured it up. I could measure it and work it out. But yeah, so this particular engine is supposed to be 56cc. So I bought this engine, as you see it. I bought it with issues. I haven't found out what those issues are yet, so or one day I'll be stripping that apart and yeah, doing whatever is required to get it running. It's quite a big engine. So yeah, looking forward to getting that one running. So we've got this is OS FS120 Surpass. So this is a supercharged engine, this one, the little one there. We've got a few other small engines there. We've got the Brown Junior. There's a couple more OS. Another OS there. And Ohlsson. So that's about it for table 3. All right, thank you.